From the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, it's time for Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl.
Welcome to Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl. We've got another second round match for you tonight. Starting out with last season's champions of Belvidere. You might remember that they took on hometown rivals Belvidere North in our live finale last May. All that's in the past. It's not only a whole new season, it's a whole new roster. So, James, your captain, let's go ahead and meet your team.
To my near right is Sean, and to my far right is X-Grid.
Excellent, welcome. And then facing you today is Ashton-Franklin Center. Now, in round one, Dakota put up a very respectable 150 points against AFC, and AFC nonetheless doubled them up, scoring 310 behind 6 correct answers from Aiden. So well done on that win, and Aiden, let's meet your team again.
Hi, I'm Aiden. To my left is Kate, to my right is Oliver, and to my far right is Colin, and we are coached by Mr. Waters.
Let's go ahead and get started. So we start off with the buzzer round. You guys know how this works. It is sponsored by Rockford University. Fingers on buzzers. Let's roll. What film character pretends to be Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago, and rides in Cameron's dad's Ferrari while taking a... Colin.
Ferris Bueller.
10. What California landmark, which was built on Mount Lee to advertise a real estate development in the 1920s, Aiden.
The Hollywood sign?
Yes. What poet of Ode on the Death of a Favorite Cat claimed the paths of glory lead but to the grave in his 1751 elegy written in a country churchyard? That's time. A little bit harder on that one. That is Thomas Gray is that elegist. New question. What unit of mass, named for an English chemist, equals 1/12 of the mass of an atom of carbon-12? Kate.
Dalton.
That's right. Or an atomic mass unit, it's the same thing. I could have taken either. What city, which was ruled by the 30 tyrants after losing a war, was the site of a funeral oration given by Pericles during its war with Aiden?
Athens.
I was about to say Sparta, so good anticipation. That's 10. What German term, whose name translates to joining, refers to the 1938 annexation of Austria by Nazi Germany? Oliver.
God. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Sorry, that's time.
Yeah.
Belvedere with a chance to steal? And that's time. That's Anschluss. New question. We're all back in. What quantity, which is 3/2 R for an ideal gas and 4.184 joules for water, is the heat needed to raise 1 gram of a substance by James?
Calorie.
No. I'll finish the question. Raise 1 gram of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. That's time. That's the specific heat or the specific heat capacity. Calories related but different. New question. What author of the alternative history novel The Man in the High Castle wrote Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which inspired Blade Runner? Time. That one is Philip K. Dick. The K stands for kindred, believe it or not. What white material, which Phidias used along with gold to create the statue of Zeus at Olympia, is sourced from hippopotamus, and that is James.
Marble.
No. Aiden?
Ivory.
Ivory is correct for 10. What 2-word phrase for an embarrassing social remark comes from the French term for misstep? That's time. That one is a faux pas. It's a false step. What war, which is the subject of James Michener's novel, The Bridges at Toko Ri, included the Battle of Incheon and was fought on an... Oliver.
Vietnam.
No, sorry. And was fought on an Asian peninsula. James?
Korean War.
Yes. New question. In what Alabama city did police brutally attack protesters on the Edmund Pettus Bridge on Bloody Sunday in Sean?
Selim.
In time and right. New question. What devices, whose function is described by the Shockley equation, are designed to conduct current in one direction and have a light-emitting type? Aiden?
Microscope.
No? And that's James, in time.
Capacitor.
Now, the light emitting becomes the LE of LED. This is a diode. And that's the round. We've got Belvidere at 20. We have AFC at 50. And we've got some commercials. See you in a moment. And welcome back to Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. Now, round two, as always, is the volleyball round, but before we get to that, I'd like to thank our judge today, which is the chair of the Illinois High School Scholastic Bowl Coaches Association, Brad Fisher. Brad, thank you. We can't do this without you. Now, the volleyball round, we're going to be starting off with Belvidere. These are teamwork questions. You get to confer and then give me an answer. Captains, speak up. The louder you are, the easier it is. But we know how this works by now. We've got time on the clock and questions, beginning with one for Belvidere. Belvidere, what project, facilitated by the 1986 Treaty of Canterbury and completed in 1994, connects Kent with France by going under the Strait of Dover? That's time. That is the Channel Tunnel, the Channel. AFC. What English author who wrote about a prince of Abyssinia in the allegorical story Rasselas was the subject of a 1791 biography by James Boswell?
No answer.
I could have guessed Johnson. That is Dr. Samuel Johnson. Belvidere. What state, which is home to the resort town of Kennebunkport, includes Acadia National Park, is in New England, and is governed from Augusta?
Maine.
Is correct. AFC. In what European country's mythology did the dead cross a river to get to Tuonela, the land of the dead, as told in the text, the Kalevala?
Norway.
Finland. Close. Belvidere. What author who wrote the story The Open Boat wrote about the cowardly private Henry Fleming in his Civil War novel, The Red Badge of Courage?
Crane.
Is correct. Stephen Crane. AFC. In the 16th through 18th centuries, French-Canadian laborers called coureurs de bois and voyageurs made a living in what industry?
Trapping.
Prompt.
Beaver trapping.
I can take it. Yeah, looking for fur in general, but that's right. Belvidere. What coefficient ranges from -1 to +1, measures the strength of linear relationships between two variables, and is denoted lowercase r?
No answer.
As the correlation coefficient. AFC. In 2023, what policy, which had been upheld in Grutter versus Bollinger, was gutted by the Supreme Court in cases about admissions to UNC and Harvard?
Affirmative action.
Is correct. Belvidere, the 1982 song Ebony and Ivory was a collaboration between Paul McCartney and what blind singer whose own hits include Superstition?
Elton John.
Stevie Wonder. AFC, what color appears in the title of a novel about Jack Gladney by Don DeLillo and the title of a book about a namesake wolf-dog hybrid by Jack London?
White.
Yep, that's White Noise and White Fang. Belvidere, what author of the novel The Bonfire of the Vanities depicted the so-called merry pranksters in his 1968 book, The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test?
Vonnegut.
Sorry, no, it's Tom Wolfe. And that's the round. So in our matchup between two teams with pirate mascots, it's the Bucks 40 and the Raiders 80. We'll see you for the Bergstrom bonus question right after this.
Stefan, Matt Foley, and Wayne Campbell are all characters from what iconic television show that airs live from New York?
And welcome back. And it's time for the Bergstrom bonus question. This one's on the buzzers, but there's no points at issue. Instead, there's a pizza and pasta party compliments of Salamone's Italian restaurant. So fingers on buzzers, here we go. Stefan Matt Foley and Wayne Campbell are all characters from what iconic television show that Colin,
Saturday Night Live.
that airs live from New York? That's right. So congratulations, that is a pizza and pasta party, compliments of Salamone's. We'll see you again in a moment. And welcome back to Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. It's time for the lightning round. So in this lightning round, AFC is going to have their first choice. We are sponsored, I should mention, by IBEW NICA. AFC, you're going to have the first pick from 3 categories. Then you'll have 60 seconds for 10 questions. Belvidere will be listening along. You'll have a chance to steal. AFC, you are taking your pick between what's sup, with sup in quotation marks, ends in X, and children's lit from the British Isles.
Sup?
Sup. So you're going to give me these words that start with the consecutive letters S-U-P. 60 seconds on the clock. 10 questions, beginning with evening meal.
Supper.
Amount, yes. Amount of something available.
Supply.
Yes. The highest court in the U.S.
Pass.
Okay. Extra or unnecessary?
Surplus.
No. To ask for something humbly, especially of God.
Pass.
The highest degree of comparison, such as in brightest.
Pass.
Okay. Soft and pliant.
Supple.
Yes. Lying down on one's back.
Pass.
Capable of exceeding Mach 1.
Supersonic.
Yes. To take the place of something, as with an indictment.
Pass.
The highest court of the U.S.
Supreme Court.
Yes. To ask for something humbly, especially of God.
Suppose.
No. The highest degree of comparison. And that is time. So you got 5 of those right for 50 points. Belvidere, you're going to have 30 seconds to try and pick up as many as you can of the remaining 5 of these words that start with the consecutive letters S-U-P. Extra or unnecessary?
Surplus.
No. To ask for something humbly, especially of God.
Pass.
The highest degree of comparison, like in brightest.
Pass.
Lying down on one's back.
Pass.
To take the place of something, as with an indictment.
Pass.
To ask for something humbly, especially of God. And that's time. So you didn't pick any of those up, which means we've got 5 for me to tell you what they were. Extra or unnecessary in this case is superfluous. To ask for something humbly, you could supplicate yourself to God. The highest degree of comparison, those are superlatives. Lying down on one's back, you are supine. And when you take the place of something, particularly when they add charges and there's a new indictment, that is supersede or superseding. So that is 50 for AFC, none for Belvidere, but Belvidere now gets your own pick between children's lit from the British Isles and ends in X.
Ends in X.
Ends in X it is. Unsurprisingly, I'm going to ask you to identify some people, places, or things whose names end in X. 60 seconds on the clock, here we go. City whose suburbs are home to the NFL's Arizona Cardinals.
Phoenix.
Yes. Day when the sun is directly above the equator.
Equinox.
Yes. 1999 movie that features Keanu Reeves as Neo.
Matrix.
Yes. A folder for received emails.
Inbox.
Yes. Desert animal, nickname of Nazi General Erwin Rommel.
Pass.
Possibly vestigial organ attached to the large intestine.
Appendix.
Yes. The first U.S. Secretary of War.
Pass.
A childhood disease that can reappear as shingles.
Smallpox.
No. The Latin name for a priest that's also the Pope's handle on Twitter.
Pass.
Catalog, whose entry 001 is Bulbasaur.
Pokedex.
Yes. The desert animal nickname of Nazi General Erwin Rommel.
Pass.
And the first U.S. Secretary of War.
Henry Knox.
Yes. And got that in just in time. So well done with 7 on that one. We are turning over 3 questions to AFC. AFC, you've got 30 seconds on the clock to identify some people, places, or things whose names end in X, beginning with desert animal nickname of Nazi General Erwin Rommel.
Fox.
Yes. Childhood disease that can reappear as shingles.
Chickenpox.
Yes. Latin name for a priest that's also the Pope's handle on Twitter.
No answer.
Cool, because if you passed it, I would just read it again. You got 2 of those right, and on Twitter, or I guess fitting the category on X, the Pope is Pontifex. So that's 7 correct for Belvidere. That is 2 correct for AFC, meaning that we have a 40-point game heading into our final round in which every single question is worth 20 points on its own. So it's a tight game, and we'll be back after this. And welcome back for tonight's final challenge, a round where every single question is worth 20 points. And that's going to matter because right now we have a 40-point margin, Belvidere with 110, AFC with 150. We're on the buzzer here. The round is sponsored by Mercy Health. Everybody ready? Good luck, both teams. In 2024, the widespread theft of what metal led Los Angeles to put some statues in storage and caused major, James.
Copper.
Is right. What city is home to the Sankore Mosque, was a major trading center of the Mali Empire, and has a, that is Sean.
Timbuktu.
Is right. What force is proportional to velocity by Stokes' law and is balanced by gravity when an object falls at terminal, that is James.
Acceleration.
No, when an object falls at terminal velocity. Oliver.
Speed.
No, it's drag gets balanced out there. Next question. In what Olympic event, whose world record holders include Sergei Bubka and Mondo Duplantis, do athletes use a long fiberglass rod to jump over a excret?
Pole vaulting.
Louder.
Pole vaulting.
20 points. What Utah senator, whose father George was a governor of Michigan, was himself a governor of Massachusetts and ran for president in 2012? Aiden.
Mitt Romney.
Is right. What type of number has an odd number of positive factors, outputs an integer when taken to the power of 1/2, and includes 16 and 25? Colin.
Perfect square.
Is right. What country musician released the 2023 album One Thing at a Time, which included the chart-topping single Last Night? Colin.
Morgan Wallen.
Is right. What language is the original language of the opera William Tell, as well as the language of Samson and Delilah by composer Camille Saint-Saëns? Aiden.
Italian.
It's not. James?
French.
It is. What kind of place is translated in Spanish as playa and in French, Aiden?
Beach.
Is correct. What religion's hymns, the Gathas, are credited to its namesake founder, who described the good god Ahura Mazda and who lived in ancient Persia? That is James.
Zoroastrianism.
That's right, dude. Next question. Quantum gravity aims to unify quantum physics with what mainstream theory of space-time and gravitation? James?
Theory of everything.
No. AFC with a chance to steal? That's time. It's general relativity. Next question. What Titan, who was tricked by Heracles into retrieving the golden apples of the Hesperides, was tasked, that is Sean,
Atlas.
is correct. Next question. Max Wertheimer co-founded what German school of psychology that holds that objects can be perceived as more than the sum of their individual parts? That's time. That is Gestalt psychology. What journey, which went from Sabarmati Ashram to Dundee, was made to protest the British monopoly on a namesake good and was led, Sean?
Salt?
Prompt.
Protests?
Prompt you again. Need more?
The Salt Walk?
No. And was made to protest the British monopoly on a namesake good and was led by Mahatma Gandhi. Aiden?
The Salt March.
That's it. And that is the match. After a very intense, very well-fought game, it is Belvidere 230 and AFC with 250. So AFC, we will see you again. Belvidere, it's been a pleasure having you. Great game, both teams, and we'll see you next week.